Hello YouTube, this is Kiryu904, and I'm back with another movie review. I haven't done one of these in a while, so I'm marking my return by reviewing the 1984 epic science fiction film Dune, seeing as I'm going to see the 2021 version soon. This was also the first adaptation of Frank Herbert's novel of the same name from 1965. It takes place thousands of years in the future, where humanity has moved on into space and established an intergalactic empire, which is divided into 4 houses. Interstellar travel, controlled by a group known as the Spacing Guild, is made possible by a substance called the Spice. This grants navigators in the Guild multidimensional awareness to help safely guide ships from one planet to another, since advanced computers are banned in the Empire. The only planet the Spice can be found is the harsh desert world of Arrakis. One house of the Empire, House Atreides, is recently given control of Arrakis by the Emperor. However, this is actually a trap set by him, who has grown jealous of Duke Leto Atreides' growing popularity among the other houses. He plans to have the Atreides killed on Arrakis by their sworn enemies, House Harkonnen, who previously held stewardship of the planet. Meanwhile, on the planet Caladan, homeworld of House Atreides, the Duke's concubine, Lady Jessica, and her son Paul Atreides are visited by a member of the Bene Gesserit, an all-female group who train themselves to obtain superior mental capabilities and awareness, as well as subtly directing humanity from the shadows towards a more enlightened state. The Reverend Mother Gaius meets with Jessica, not pleased that she bore a son when she was ordered to give birth to a daughter in the hopes that she be wed to a Harkonnen in order to produce the Kwisatz Haderach, a super being and the end result of the Bene Gesserit's breeding program. Later, the Reverend Mother subjects Paul to a grueling test, but to her surprise, he succeeds in passing it, after which the Reverend Mother departs. Not long after the Atreides and their forces arrive on Arrakis, they are set upon by Baron Harkonnen and his army consisting of the Emperor's elite soldiers, the Sardaukar. This is due to their personal physician, Dr. Wellington Yue, disabling the shields to the Atreides' stronghold, hoping that he be reunited with his dead wife in return. Not, of course, knowing that the Harkonnens deceived him into thinking she was still alive. The Duke is killed, and the Atreides are all but wiped out. Fortunately, both Paul and Jessica manage to escape into the desert and narrowly avoid being eaten by the planet's giant sandworms. Soon after, the two manage to join up with the Fremen, the natives of Arrakis. Paul also learns of a prophecy concerning him, that he'd be the one to lead them to freedom from the Harkonnens. Over the next couple of years, he and the Fremen repeatedly attacked the Baron's spice mining operations, nearly grinding them to a halt. Paul even falls in love with a Fremen girl named Jenny, while Jessica becomes the native's own Reverend Mother. The Fremen's attacks become too much for the Baron to handle, prompting the Emperor to attempt a takeover of Arrakis himself. After arriving along with members of the Bene Gesserit and Spacing Guild, Paul and the Fremen make one final assault on the former Atreides palace, riding the sandworms into battle. They succeed in eliminating most of the Harkonnens and Sardaukar forces, and the Baron is eventually killed. Following the Fremen takeover of the planet, and a brief duel between Paul and one of the Baron's nephews, the Emperor is forced to surrender, and Paul is deemed to be the Kwisatz Haderach. So, a bit to say about this one. Let's start off with the book comparisons. There are a few areas where the film was faithful to the novel, certain characters, moments, themes, etc., whilst others were altered, contrary, or completely removed altogether. And then there were the additions that just seemed bizarre. Most notably was the addition of the weirding modules. These replaced the weirding way from the book, which was a martial art that allowed one to move at lightning speeds. The modules in the movie were weapons that could turn the user's voice into a destructive blast of sound. Also, the way the movie represented certain aspects from the novel seemed a tad bit ridiculous. It also felt a little bit rushed towards the end, like it just breezed through most of the second half of the book in the last act. Now, when it comes to the acting, it's a mixed bag. On one hand, you get great performances from Patrick Stewart and Kyle MacLachlan, but then some of the cast decided to crank it up to 11 with the hamminess. A lot of the movie's special effects are pretty dated, but a few actually looked amazing, like the sandworms. I did actually enjoy the film's soundtrack a lot, especially the main title. In conclusion, I found the 1984 Dune to be quite flawed, but not a terrible movie. And that's all I have to say for this video. Thumbs up if you enjoyed this movie review, and subscribe if you'd like to see more. You can also follow me on Twitter. Goodbye, and have a good day, everyone.